Hey folks, Poster, welcome back to another Pokemon Master video, and today we're gonna go over one of the details in yesterday's, or I guess last night's, or is it? I guess early this morning. I don't know. Just the 8th developer letter that dropped recently, and it talked about a lot of stuff, right? They detailed more stuff about the Pokemon egg system. Some more improvements to, well, not details, but they are saying they're trying to improve the sync grid grind and all that stuff, legendary event, and among all the things, one thing that did, got a lot of conversation going is the new, I guess, sort of legendary event called the Legendary Area. And Legendary Area, they described it as this. They said powerful legendary Pokemon will appear in the Legendary Area. You have the opportunity to use many different sync pairs in these battles, because the opponent's attack pattern will change when its HP has been reduced to a certain amount. Deciding when to use which sync pair is extremely important. We're also considering ways to reward trainers who complete these challenges using only a few sync pairs. And then at the end there, they said, we expect the Legendary Arena to debut this summer. We recommend that you build up your water-type sync pairs in preparation. So what does that mean? It probably means nothing, but it could also mean that the legendary Pokemon that we're facing this summer will be weak to water types. So let's try and figure out what are the potential candidates that fit that bill, right? That are legendary Pokemon that are weak to water. So just going on the the Cerebi side for all legendary Pokemon. So everything here is listed are legendaries, right? So if you don't start arguing with me if mythical Pokemon are legendaries, yes they are. Mythical Pokemon are a subcategorization of legendary. Same with sub-legendary Pokemon. They're 3 different categories of legendary Pokemon. So we're gonna go over all of them. So basically, water is super effective against, just to make our search quicker, right? Super effective against fire, rock, and ground. So we'll be looking at those Pokemon and skipping the ones that aren't super effective. Just stuff like Reshiram, which is like fire, and Dragon, which Dragon does it's resistant to water, so you're not getting super effective damage on Reshiram, right? Although, is it possible that they could have a Reshiram event and then make it weak to water, even though it's not actually weak to water in the game? I guess they can, just because like their weakness is all over the place in this game. Just because there's only one typing for each Pokemon in this game, there's no dual typing. It's just single typing, and it's super annoying. But it is what it is. Anyways, let's go into like strictly weak against water type legendary Pokemon. So the first one on this list, Moltres, right? Moltres, fire flying. It's I guess a possibility. So Moltres is one. Pure fire, Entei, that's another one. Regirock, pure rock type, that's another one. Heatran, that's another one, right? Fire steel. What else? Tracheon, fighting, and rock, that's another one. Landorus, both forms, whichever form, I guess. Landorus is another possibility, right? What else? Oh my god, Ultra Beast names. Okay, I know how to correctly pronounce like 3 Ultra Beasts, so forgive me if I get these wrong. And I can't pronounce Nihilego or whatever it's called, right? And it's like the biggest one, or not? It's like the main one in their OG Sentiment, right? I know Buzzwole and Guzzlord and Pheromosa. Those are 3 I know. But yeah, Nihilego or whatever it's called. Poison Rock is weak to water. And last one down here, Stakataka, whatever. Stakataka. Or actually, there's 3. Sakataka, rock, steel, weak to water, and the this thing, Blacephalone. This thing, Fire Ghost, also weak to water. So those are sub-legendary categories. Here's the legendary categories, which, by the way, all the legendary events have been legendaries. So like maybe the legendary area would be like sub-legendaries or mythicals potentially, or actually, well, I don't know, like mythicals. The only mythical that's in the game is Mew, and it came through login bonus. So maybe legendary areas could be like sub-legendaries. I don't know. But anyways, it's still a possibility that these are just regular legendaries, right? Legendaries. So let's go over them. First one, Ho-Oh, the one that's also shown in the trailer, which does give it a few more points in bonus. We'll talk about it in detail afterwards. And then we got Groudon, ground type, weak to water. Let's see, who else? I think, is that everyone in this category? Dragon, ground, dragon, fire, those are not weak to water. And, yeah, those are all over there. And then in the mythical section, we got Diancie, Rock Fairy, and Victini, Fire Psychic. I think that's all down here, right? Yep. Those should be all the legendaries that are weak to water. So the first one I do want to take out is maybe mythicals, just because so far mythicals, they have just been, you know, given out as login rewards. And again, very, very small sample size. So sample size is 1. So is it possible that it could be Diancie or Victini? Okay, potentially, right? But if they're like debuting like a new feature, I would assume it would be something. It's called a legendary like area, right? Or arena. I would guess it's like something larger than Diancie or Victini, right? So again, is it possible? Sure. The biggest culprit here is obviously Ho-Oh, just because Ho-Oh was in the trailer. But my one counterpoint to that theory, and you know, obviously Ho-Oh is a very popular candidate, but they did mention in the letter that it was going to debut this summer, and we just got that trailer, right? And in that trailer, we got 3 new trainers, or sync pairs, I guess. Well, like non-sync, right, regular trainers, right? Being Wally, Dawn, and Lily. And then we got 2 Signa suits, which were Signa Suit Leaf and Signa Suit Blue. A new egg, Charmander, and another a legendary at the end, Ho and Silver, right? So that does have a sync pair. It does have a trainer, right? That's going to be Silver. So I was thinking, because they didn't really mention about trainers in the legendary area, so I was thinking maybe they will just be like legendaries without trainers in the legendary area, because that would help a lot of these legendaries that really don't have any affiliation to any other trainer as much, right? In the legendary area, like, you know, stuff like I don't know, Guzzlord. Who has any affiliation to like Guzzlord really? Other than, you know, like, you know, like everyone basically does kind of sort of have an affiliation, but some of them like are really obscure, like Riley using Regigigas in like one of the Battle Tower stages. Again, really obscure links, right? So maybe the legendary areas could like be without trainers, right? And also, I bring up that point because that trailer did seem like those events could fit into 1 month, right? We got 2 Poke Fairs, assuming the Signa suits are Poke Fairs, Signa Suit Leaf and Signa Suit Blue, 2 Poke Fairs. We got 3 regular trainers, Dawn, Wally, and who's the other one? Dawn, Wally, and Lily, right? And then 1 legendary event. So that's usually what happens in a month, right? That does fit a month schedule, and they released it, you know, around the 6-month anniversary, right? And that would be, and you know, where you knew what was in March, right? So that could very likely just be like April's event, and April, last I checked, is not summer, so there could be a possibility that it's not Ho-Oh, and Ho-Oh is just the next legendary event, like straight up legendary event, not legendary area, that's coming to the game in April, right? Potentially. So if it's not Ho-Oh, then we got like a few more options. Groudon, these 3 Ultra Beasts, which I don't want to try and pronounce their name again, Landorus, Draceon, Heatran, Regirock, Entei, and Moltres, right? So it's really hard to determine, right? And you know, like even if we do talk about like who's like a Regirock trainer other than like Pyramid King Brendan, like it's kind of hard to find trainers for a lot of these sub legendaries unless they just make like Signature variants of, I guess, like regular trainers, and then like they'll like, I guess like Signature Lieutenant Surge would have like Zapdos maybe or something, or they could just use a lot of the Frontier Brains, Battle Tower stuff. So I guess they could do that. I don't think. Do any of the Frontiers / Battle Tower, Battle Villa, Battle whatever, not Battle Villa, Battle Resort, do any of those folks use like legendaries ever? I don't think they do, right? They're generally banned, right? Right? Battle Frontier, like, you know, straight up legendaries are banned. You could use sub legendaries for the most part, right? So yeah, not sure about any of these. People did mention about Groudon, since obviously it does seem like I'm trying to focus on Groudon. People did mention that Groudon, once it is in its primal form, that it does have Desolate Land as an ability in the main game, which does nullify water type attacks, right, for the most part. But do keep in mind, abilities aren't a thing in Pokemon Masters. There are no abilities in Pokemon Masters. There's passives. There's no abilities. And there's definitely not any ability that nullifies like, water attacks straight up, right? So that's really not a thing in Pokemon Masters. And besides, of all the legendary events that come out so far, and again, this is something new, it's unprecedented, but so far, all of these that do have like kind of sort of alternate forms, right? Mewtwo, Rayquaza, Solgaleo not so much. It's kind of more of a Necrozma thing, right? But you know, they all have alternate forms. You got Mega, the 2 Mega Mewtwo's, Mega Rayquaza, kind of sort of Ultra Necrozma, right? Not really, but sort of. I mean, they're, you know, you get the deal, right? And none of them really had their alternate forms out yet, so Groudon being just regular Groudon, weak to water, is totally fine, right? So I do think Groudon is a potential possibility, right? Any of these pseudo legendaries are also potential possibilities. Again, maybe these mythicals, but I just don't see it really happening. Just because of the one precedent that was set before with Mew, right? So again, it's possible. Just, you know, just that one sample size of one, which is barely anything. Just slightly lowers the chances over there. As for these guys, I guess they're all possible, but we just don't know, right? And also, they did mention how the battle will change. So their attack pattern will change and all that stuff, which is kind of just what regular battles are, except it doesn't really have much to do with HP. Like, their attack patterns changed. It's not like they're always using the same move in every battle, right? But if that does mean that we could get like form changes, then maybe, right? We get like Primal Groudon after it goes down to a certain amount of HP, right? If assuming, you know, it's Groudon or anyone else that has alternate forms that is weak to fire. Anyone else? I guess Landorus, right? Landorus is another one. Ho-Oh, no. But yeah, I guess that's also a possibility. It does kind of remind me, if you guys play Monster Hunter, right? And I'll make this analogy really quick for those who don't. If you play Monster Hunter, you know Elatreon, it's an Elder Dragon, sort of, that changes weaknesses depending on what stage of their battle they're in, right? So it could be something like that, right? So it could be that it's, you know, again, we're using Groudon as an example. It could start out weak to water, and then afterwards it could like make it like weak to ground, right, or something. Or like Landorus, it could start out weak to water, and then or start out, if it's this form, or actually maybe if it's, I don't know, they can like make one form weak to water or the other weak to ice or whatever, right? Something like that. But again, generally we don't have too many clues, but we do have a general list of Pokemon that are weak to water. Again, stuff like Reshiram and Zygarde that do have one type in their typing, in their dual typing, that is weak to water. These are possible just because of how typing works in Pokémon Masters. Again, you know, if there's no dual typings in this game, they could just like make it be ground type and make it weak to water Zygarde, which would be really, really annoying. But I guess it's possible. The possibility is really low just because of this, you know, the fact that they're not actually weak to water, right? So there's that. Like Rotom or not Rotom. I think like I remember like I think someone was like someone who like was like immune, or am I thinking about Mystery Dungeon right now? I don't know. But anyways, or some other game. Anyways, yeah, that's it for this one. Just a quick list of the potential candidates. Again, going over it real quick: Moltres, Entei, Regirock, Heatran, Terrakion, Landorus, Nihilego, Stekataka, Blastfelplon thing, Balloon, whatever, Clown, Groudon, Ho-Oh, Victini, and Diancie. And I probably missed someone in between. But anyways, that's me for this one. Hope you guys enjoyed. Let me know what you guys think in the comments down below. Which of these legendaries do you think it's going to be? Again, the biggest indicator that we have is Ho-Oh, but also there are contradictory statements to prove that, or suggest that it might not be Ho as well. So anyways, again, let me know what you guys think it will be in the comments down below. Like and share the video, subscribe to the channel for some more Pokemon Masters content. I'll see you guys in the next one.